Hello, welcome back to the Spider's Web, and as you can see we're working a little bit more on this fella. I've zoomed in a lot more so you can see how he looks, and what we're going to be doing now is just covering over the base. Now before I continue I want to zoom out, okay, and I want to explain what I've done. The black that I put on was wrong. It wouldn't fit in with the rest of my colour, no, the rest of the colours that I've used. So what I'm going to be using instead is Rhinox hide. I've covered the base in sand and sealed it, for the simple reason being it would take up far less time. All it's a case of doing is covering it with PVA, dipping it in sand, wait until it dries, and then more PVA, bit of water, or very watered down PVA, and just go over it just to seal it up. So what we're going to do first of all is using Talisman sand. I'm not going to be fussed about all this too much. Okay, sorry about that. As I was saying, it's Talisman sand. I'm going to be putting that all over the base. I'm just going to go straight from the pot here. I'm not taking it too much or going too far with it. Yes, I think it's Talisman sand that I used. Can't quite remember. I'm not sure whether I used this one or another colour completely. I've used this as a dry brush. I think that's what I did. I think I used this as a dry brush and used another colour. But never mind. Not to worry. What we need to do is just cover up all of the sand area of this model. Okay. And I think that's it. That's what we've done. And now we'll just wash our brush out. And we will go around the edge of the base with, as I said, the Rhinox hide. There we go. And that's that. Now, let's rinse our base out, or rinse our brush out again a little more. Now, let's have a quick talk about what we're going to be doing next. The reason I did these videos in the first place was because Stephen Gilbert asked me if I would do a video, or asked me actually, in one of my Q&A sessions, how I did the static grass that was on my models. This is, as I said, an appropriate way to show this, so I might as well take the opportunity to do so. For Talisman, I have 3 sets of static grass. They're all Citadel. It's either dead grass, and then we have this one, which is like a mixture grass, like forest grass, something like that. I can't remember what the actual name of it is, but it's a fairly dark mix with lots of reds and yellow fibres in there. And then we have, in fact, the dead mix. I'll go back to this again, because in fact no I won't. We'll do this one first of all. And then we have this one, which is a much lighter mix, much paler. It still has mixes of red and yellow fibres in there, but as I said, the main green is very, very pale. I use these on the different models because the alignments on the Talisman figures are good, neutral and evil. So for the good alignment characters, I do it in this particular pale green colour of grass. For the neutral, I use the darker green, and for the evil, which is the bounty hunter character and obviously quite a few others, I use this dead grass colour, which is a very creamy colour, as you can see. Now, there are applicator devices that you could use. You can make some yourself, or even what's the word I'm looking for? I've just realised I have used the wrong colour. I should have used Steel Legion Drab for the base, because that looks too much like that. So I'm going to wait until that dries and go over with the Steel Legion Drab, and then it's not, in fact, let's go over with the Steel Legion Drab now. I can carry on talking about what I'm doing with the thing once this has dried properly, because I can't really do anything until it has dried. So let's just go over all this again. As I said, we're using Steel Legion Drab. It's a dark colour. And it looks a lot more like earth and dirt than the Talisman sand does. So it's just a case of applying it to cover all the sand that's on the base. The idea is you cover it in sand, but you paint the sand afterwards because it makes it look right. If you don't paint the sand, it doesn't look right somehow. So you cover it in sand. If you're doing a desert base, you cover it in sand and you paint it Talisman sand to make it look like sand. I know it sounds weird, but you'll see what I mean when you do it yourself. You don't really tend to see it on that well on camera, unfortunately. But that's that bit done. Hopefully that will dry before I've finished saying what I'm saying. Okay, so the static grass, in case you haven't know anything about it, it's long fibres. You can probably see it now on my fingers there, and they attach via static. Now, as I said, there's a lot of applicators you can get, or you can make them or make one yourself. There are countless videos on YouTube to show how to make them. I don't use them actually, but I am so tempted with getting the flock box. I do like the look of that, but I'll say it goes with static. It stands up with the static. So what I tend to do is apply a little bit of glue to the base where I want the grass to go, and dip it into the actual tub containing the static grass, turn the model upside down and flick the back of it. The flick in the back must do something with the static because it tends to stick up, but it sticks up, flops over a little bit as well, so it doesn't actually stick up like an action man's head, or the hair on the action man's head. So I think it looks, for me, it looks a lot better because it looks as though the grass has been trampled on and whatever. This hasn't quite dried, so I think I'm going to have to come back to this when it has. It is still looking a little wet. Now, what I would do as well with this is I would dry brush the highlights. I'll dry brush the top of it in a screaming skull to pick out the detail before I did anything else. So, as I say, I'm going to come back to this in a short while once it's dried, and I'll show you the next step then. Okay, so I'll leave that there, and I will see you shortly. Okay, we're back, and we're going to carry on with this fella. So what we need to do before we do anything else with him is to just dry brush over the highlights. When I say dry brush over the highlights, what I meant is dry brush over the high points of this model. And for that we're going to be using Screaming Skull. We just want a very small amount of this on the brush, and I mean a very small amount. So I'll put it on. Wipe it off on a little piece of tissue, and quite literally just go over on the surface and allow the raised areas to pick off where it needs it. Okay, so that's that done. As you can see, it's looking a little bit brighter on the tops of the raised areas. Now what we need to do is, using a little plastic blister thingy, a little bit of PVA glue, I have a little blister thingy and a spot of PVA glue. I'm saying a spot of PVA glue, that is if we seem to have a blocked hole in this tub. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can gouge some of the dried glue out. Let's see if this helps. Nope. So what I'll do is I'll just take the cap off and just pour a little bit. Oops. We certainly don't need that much. Oh, heck. Never mind. Never mind. Okay, so we have our little blister. This is one of the Avatars of War blister packs we're using, and it's just straight PVA, and we're just applying a little bit here and there. We don't want to cover everywhere, and we certainly don't want to be spurting with the with the glue. So I'll just apply the glue, and then we can put that to one side, and now we take out the static grass. What I'm going to do now is just place the model in the tub and make sure it's all covered in the static grass. Now I'm going to just raise the camera with it. Okay, and as you can see, it's all covered. What I'll do now is turn it upside down and just flick, hold it vertical and flick the base, and then I'll lower the camera down. You can have a look at how it's worked. I just needed to raise the camera so that we'll get both hands under there and hold it upright properly. And now, as you can see, we have the tufts of grass. And it does look a little out of place at the moment. Once it's dried, it will dull down to match the colour of the base. And the next time you see this model, I'll show you how it looks. But that is how I apply the static grass, and it works with the others of the Citadel range exactly the same way. I've not tried any other static grass, so I don't know whether you would need a static grass applicator, but for the Games Workshop Citadel stuff, this is the process I use to do it. So that is it for this little series showing the bounty hunter being painted. I'm going to be going over to another model for the next series, so that we can continue more with the Talisman miniatures. But until next time, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.